What if Minato survived the Nine-Tails attack and raised Naruto himself? With his father by his side from the very beginning, how different would Naruto's life and the future of the ninja world be? In the original story, Minato uses the Dead Demon Consuming Seal, a jutsu that calls on the Shinigami, sacrifices his own soul, and splits Kurama in two before sealing one half into Naruto. It works, but it costs him his life on the spot. However, in this story, Minato does something different. He spends the seconds he has, and when you're the fastest shinobi alive, seconds are a lot, working out a modified version of the sealing that keeps his soul intact. The idea is to redirect the jutsu's destructive cost inward rather than outward, absorbing the damage into his own body instead of offering his life to the death god. He pulls it off. The seal holds. Kurama is contained inside Naruto, and Minato is still breathing when it's over, but breathing and intact are not the same thing. The modified sealing permanently destroys large portions of his chakra pathways. It is the kind of damage that doesn't heal, doesn't stabilize, and doesn't stop. It will get worse every year. His chakra output drops to a fraction of what it was. His body ages faster than it should. And the fourth Hokage, the man who could cross a battlefield in a single motion and was called a genius by people who set an impossibly high bar for the word, will spend the rest of his life feeling the echo of that one jutsu in every single thing he tries to do. He survives. Kushina doesn't. Having Kurama forcibly extracted from her was always going to be fatal, and nothing in Minato's modified approach changes that outcome. She dies shortly after the sealing, in Minato's arms with just enough time to say the things that matter. Minato is left standing in the wreckage of the village, holding a newborn son, alive in a way that already feels like it costs too much. The first thing he does, once the immediate chaos settles, is go to the third Hokage and resign. Not because grief broke him, though grief is absolutely there, sitting in his chest like a stone that never fully dissolved. He resigns because the sealing has left him physically incapable of leading the village at the level it needs. He cannot fight at an elite level anymore. His chakra output is permanently crippled, reduced to a fraction of what it was, something that would barely satisfy a Chunin exam, let alone the standard expected of the man who once crossed entire battlefields in a single step. He cannot protect Konoha the way a Hokage must be able to. He knows this clearly and without self-pity because Minato has always been someone who looks at reality directly, even when reality is ugly. The third takes the title back, and the village watches its greatest hero quietly step away from everything he built. The announcement is short and gives very little detail. Nobody presses for more. No visible weight on Minato's face the morning after the attack is explanation enough for anyone paying attention. Some people in the village understand, some pity him, and some quietly, in ways they would never say out loud, resent Naruto for it. Because the truth that everyone can see but nobody wants to say plainly is that Minato traded his career, his health, and whatever future he might have had for his son's life on that night. That resentment becomes one of the most complicated undercurrents of Naruto's childhood. Not the open hatred of canon, but something thornier. Forced respect on the surface and complicated feelings underneath. Minato doesn't have the energy to manage other people's feelings about it. He has a son to raise. He talks about Kushina constantly. Every day in some form, she is present in their home, in the stories Minato tells. In the photographs he keeps at eye level so Naruto can always see her face. In the way he describes her when Naruto asks. Her stubbornness. The way she talked too loudly and loved too hard and absolutely refused to let anything stay broken if she could get her hands on it. Naruto absorbed all of it without even trying. The traits that visibly define him as he grows up. The refusal to quit, the big, loud heart, the instinct to run toward people who are suffering rather than away from them. These are Kushina's traits, living on in a boy who never got to meet her. Minato notices this every single day, and it is simultaneously the most painful and most beautiful thing in his life. He tells Naruto about Kurama early. No softening, no waiting until Naruto is old enough to handle it. No village-approved story about what's sealed inside him. Minato sits him down one afternoon when Naruto is still very young and explains it all. What Kurama is, what happened on the night of the attack, why Naruto was chosen, and what it means going forward. He frames it not as a curse or a burden, but as a responsibility, and also as a strength that Naruto will grow into. He also tells him the truth about the sealing, what it costs, why he made the choice, and why he would make it again without hesitation. Naruto listens to all of it in the serious, focused way he has that always surprises people who expect him to be like other kids his age. The training starts early too. Minato can't demonstrate techniques at full power anymore. His chakra output won't allow it, but his mind is entirely intact, and the fourth Hokage's mind was always the most dangerous part of him anyway. He teaches Naruto Fuinjutsu fundamentals that most Yonin never fully grasp. He teaches chakra control with an obsessive precision that Naruto initially struggles with and then slowly masters. He begins laying the theoretical groundwork for the Flying Thunder God. Not the full technique yet, just the principles. The spatial awareness. The way you have to think about distance and time simultaneously for it to make any sense. Naruto becomes his father's best student simply by being his only one. Inside the seal, something else is shifting. Because Naruto grows up knowing about Kurama without fear or shame. The fox's hostility has less to grip onto. Minato also embedded specific chakra imprints within the seal on the night of the attack. Fail-safes designed to help Naruto communicate with Kurama safely when the time came. The partnership between them develops years ahead of canon schedule. It isn't fast or easy. Kurama is ancient and stubborn and has very good reasons not to trust humans. But Naruto approaches him with the same patient, persistent energy he brings to everything else. And eventually, Kurama looks at this kid and makes an acknowledgement he didn't expect to make. That this one is different. That moment becomes the seed of something that will matter enormously later. At the academy, the results of Minato's early training are obvious. Naruto is not the dead last. He isn't the class clown scrambling for attention. He is genuinely skilled in ways his classmates can't quite match, particularly in chakra control and situational awareness. But he carries something that surprises the instructors. A chip on his shoulder that seems out of place for someone with his background. You have to understand what Naruto is navigating. Everywhere he goes, people see one of two things. The fourth Hokage's son or the Jinchuriki. Nobody just sees Naruto. That need to be seen as himself separate from both his father's legend and the beast inside him becomes the fire that drives him harder than any comfortable upbringing ever could have. Team assignments come, and Naruto lands on Team 7 alongside Sasuke and Sakura under Kakashi. This is where things get interesting. Sasuke Uchiha has spent his entire life at the top of every room he walks into. He walks into Team 7 expecting the same. He finds Naruto, who has been training since childhood by the fourth Hokage himself, waiting for him with zero intention of backing down. The rivalry that forms between them is different from canon. It isn't Naruto chasing Sasuke's shadow and Sasuke tolerating a persistent nuisance. It is two people who are genuinely measurably close in ability, going at each other from day one. Sasuke is motivated by it in ways he doesn't fully admit. Naruto is motivated by it in ways he admits very loudly. Kakashi watches the two of them and thinks quietly to himself that this team is either going to be remarkable or catastrophic, and probably both. The years pass. The early missions happen. Naruto grows steadily stronger. His combination of Minato's technical foundation and Kurama's growing partnership producing results that surprise people who didn't see the work behind it. But underneath all of it, the other thing is happening too. Minato's health is declining in a way that is no longer possible to miss. By the time Naruto is in his early teens, Minato has stopped pretending. He sits Naruto down and tells him plainly, the sealing jutsu didn't just damage him on the night of the attack. It was been breaking him down ever since, slowly and without pause. And there is no treatment and no reversal. He tells Naruto what this means for how much time they have. He tells him without self-pity, in the same direct way he has always talked to his son, and he tells him clearly that he does not regret a single second of it. Naruto doesn't say anything for a long time after that conversation. Then he starts training harder than he ever has in his life. Not from despair, from determination. He is going to become everything his father spent his health building, and he is going to do it while Minato is still alive to see it. That is the only timeline that matters to him. The Chunin exams arrive, and Naruto's fight with Neji becomes one of the most watched moments in the village that year. Not because of what happens, but because of how it happens. Neji brings his philosophy of destiny and fixed fate against a Naruto who has lived his whole life watching his father refuse to accept limitations. The fight is brutal and technical and eventually comes down to Naruto opening up Kurama's chakra in a way that is controlled and intentional rather than desperate, overwhelming Neji's gentle fist with a combination of speed, unpredictable movement, and sheer refusal to stay down. In the stands, Minato watches without saying anything. When it's over, he is simply smiling. When Sasuke deflects to Orochimaru, Minato does something that surprises the entire retrieval team. He shows up not to fight. Everyone knows he can't fight at that level anymore, and he doesn't pretend otherwise, but to plan. He coordinates the retrieval mission with a strategic intelligence that none of the Yonin on the team can match, mapping Orochimaru's likely escape routes, anticipating Sasuke's psychology, and positioning the team in ways that come closer to cutting Sasuke off than anyone in canon ever managed. They don't bring him back. Orochimaru's people are too many and too strong for the team they have. But Sasuke reaches his destination knowing that Naruto's father put everything he still had left into that chase. And something about that knowledge sits in Sasuke's chest in the years that follow in a way he doesn't have words for. Minato doesn't make it to the Fourth Shinobi War. The sealing damage collects its final debt in the years leading up to it. Not dramatically, not on a battlefield with a last stand and a final technique. It happens at home, with Naruto sitting beside him, in the quiet way that most deaths actually happen when you have time to see them coming. Minato spends those last days talking about Kushina, the stories he hasn't told yet, about the Night of the Nine Tails, the details he held back until Naruto was old enough to hold them, about the prophecy of the Child of Destiny, and why he believed from the very first moment he held his son that Naruto was it. He tells Naruto that becoming Hokage was never the point. The point was always to become someone who made the world better by being in it, and that he has always done that 10 times over just by being who he is. He tells him he is proud in a way that has nothing to do with strength or rank. Then he closes his eyes and he doesn't open them again. Naruto goes into the war carrying his father's words like armor. The war is where everything Minato built is tested. Naruto fights with a completeness that stuns the allied forces. Flying Thunder God techniques appear appearing in his arsenal and drawing gasps from veteran shinobi who recognize what they're seeing. Fuinjutsu applications that nobody expected from someone his age. Kurama's chakra flowing through him in a partnership so seamless it looks effortless. He is not the most powerful person on the battlefield in raw terms, but he is the most complete. And against the scale of what the allied forces are facing, complete matters more than powerful. Against the Ten Tails and an army of reanimated shinobi, Naruto moves through the battlefield like a problem that keeps appearing somewhere new. The Flying Thunder God lets him cover ground that should be impossible, appearing beside allied shinobi who are about to be overwhelmed and getting them clear before the blow lands. His Fuinjutsu disrupts techniques mid-formation, unraveling jutsu that the enemy thought were already settled. And Kurama, fully partnered, fully committed, provides an engine of chakra that simply doesn't run out at the rate other shinobis does. The allied commanders start factoring him into their strategy the way they factor in geography. He is less a person and more a force of nature that happens to be on their side. Minato built all of this in afternoon training sessions in a backyard in Konoha, and it is dismantling an army. The Kabuto Ido Tensei brings Minato back. It is the moment the story has been building toward without anyone realizing it. Naruto faces his father on the battlefield, fully reanimated, forced to fight without choice, wearing the face of the man who spent his shortened life raising him. The fourth Hokage in his prime, chakra pathways restored by the immortality of the reanimation, moving with a speed and precision that the illness had stolen from him years ago. Every technique he uses is one he taught Naruto himself. Every Flying Thunder God flash is a memory attached to an afternoon in their backyard. Every seal is something Naruto watched those hands form 100 times in practice. Naruto has to fight him without breaking, and he has to free him without defeating him, because destroying Minato's reanimated body just sends him back into the coffin. And Naruto needs to break the jutsu, not the man. He talks to him while they fight. That's the part nobody expects. In between exchanges of blinding speed and clashing seals, Naruto talks to his father the way he always talked to him, directly, too loudly, without enough filter. He talks about what Minato taught him. He talks about Kushina, reciting the stories back the way Minato told him, and he watches his father's reanimated eyes flicker with something beneath the jutsu's control. The Edo Tensei holds the soul in place, but it cannot silence it entirely, and Minato is fighting the compulsion with everything the jutsu left him to fight with. It is enough, just barely, but enough. Naruto finds the gap, a moment between techniques where his father's resistance creates a half second of stillness, and drives a seal into the ground that disrupts the Edo Tensei's anchor. Minato's form begins to dissolve. For just a moment before he is gone, the compulsion lifts entirely, and Minato looks at his son with his own eyes. He tells him he did well. Naruto grins through tears and tells him he learned from the best. Then he's gone, and Naruto turns back to the war. The rest of it plays out the way it has to, through sacrifice and connection, and the allied forces pulling together against an enemy that almost ends everything. When it is over and the world begins the slow process of putting itself back together, Naruto becomes the 7th Hokage. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like for more Naruto videos.